I'm Shae Russell from Mining.com.au, and I'm coming to you from the New World Metals Conference here in Melbourne, hosted by Vertical Events. Sitting next to me is a man who probably doesn't need an introduction, but I'm going to do it anyway. This is Dr. Mike Jones, the Managing Director of Impact Minerals. Dr. Mike Jones, how are you?
Very good, Shae. Great to see you again.
Love to see
in
you
sunny
again.
Melbourne, of all places.
Can't believe Melbourne's sunny.
Indeed.
Thank you so much for being here. Now, I'm really excited to talk about the recent progress at your Lake Hope high purity alumina project.
It can be tricky. It can be tricky.
It took a minute or two for me a second or two for me to get my head around that. Now, you've just announced that you've lodged the mining lease for that project. Tell me, what were some of the things that were happening in the background to make this happen?
So, for people who aren't familiar, our plan to get into the high purity alumina business is to mine the top 2 metres of a salt pan, dry lake in Western Australia, in the middle of nowhere. And high purity alumina is used in 2 main areas, in particular in the LED space. And the background to every LED diode is sapphire, which is made out of high purity alumina. And it's also used in the battery market as a separator between the cathode and anode and stops batteries exploding. And one of the things that's right in front of my mind at the moment is LG has a big battery recall on at the moment for its home batteries because they're catching on fire, and that's because the separator is not doing its job properly. So our plan is to get into that business. Now, we are mining a natural ore body, and for which we need a mining lease. And so last month we lodged our maiden mining lease application, the first one Impact has done in its extensive history, plus a miscellaneous licence for the haul road to get ourselves onto the main track. The plan is not to do any on-site processing. The material is basically direct shipping ore. We're going to take it out and truck it to Kwinana. So on the mine site, putting the application in for the mining lease sets in process the approvals process, and the 2 main things to do for that are the discussions and negotiations with the Naju, the local Aboriginal group, who are the traditional owners of the land on which we're going to build Lake Hope, and also further environmental studies. Now, we've already done baseline heritage clearance and baseline environmental surveys, and there are no significant impediments. So I'm expecting that approvals process should be fairly straightforward. So that's an exciting development. And as part of that, we also will be announcing shortly a resource upgrade on the lake to measured, which gives us a lot more confidence in the mineralisation, and will also allow us to move towards a maiden reserve, which, for those of you who don't know, the implications of that is that it allows people to really see value in the project. So
the benefits of a maiden reserve essentially means it's gone from concept to reality, and it's now emphasising that it is economically viable. It's no longer just a theory, it actually is.
That's correct.
Now, speaking of economically viable, you are in the process of looking together a pre-feasibility study. Tell me, what steps are you going to take to bring that together?
So it's like a jigsaw puzzle. So obviously with a conventional deposit, say a gold deposit, you find the gold mine, that's the hard part. And then you build a plant next to it and you sell the gold or the concentrate. So in the industrial minerals business, and HPA is no different, finding a resource is probably the easiest part, and we have that in spades, enough for at least 50 years of mine life at benchmark production rate at Lake Hope. The challenge then is processing it and then finding offtake. And so putting those together is actually like a large jigsaw puzzle. There's a lot of moving parts. Be careful what you wish for when you say, I've always wanted to build a mine, and now I'm trying to build one. It's like, oh my goodness. So we have a lot of balls in the air at the moment, all of which should land. There's no problem there. It's just that things have got to happen. So, for example, the measured resource that we just mentioned, that's all been in train. We're filling in the JORC tables, which are this long, to go with that. That'll be out shortly. So that's one piece of the jigsaw. The second one is the process plant. Now, we've decided that Kwinana is going to be the place that we're going to build the plant. So it's a fairly extensive trucking distance, 550 k's, but it's relatively cheap to mine and transport it because of the unique nature of the material, just being the top 2 metres of the lake. So we found a very nice piece of ground in Kwinana, which amazingly enough has chemicals that we need right next door, and also buyers of our byproducts also on the other side. So it is a uniquely placed piece of ground. CPC Engineering are undertaking detailed engineering studies to design the plant on that piece of ground, and so far it actually looks a very beautiful, neat looking plant, and we'll be talking to Development WA to secure that ground as we go forward. So all those things are happening in the background. We have also recently appointed a marketing manager, which we'll announce shortly. So he is now starting the process of putting our marketing plan together and also making initial contact with clients. So it's the third piece of that wonderful jigsaw puzzle. and we've got people pouring out of the conference as we
I think they might have
come
heard there
here.
were some free drinks on. But before we get to our celebratory drinks to toast to your success later today, listen, there's obviously a couple of pieces of the puzzle that are falling into place as we speak. But what other sort of like pieces of the puzzle, news flow wise, because investors look forward to?
Yep. So we'll have a lot of news flow between now and the end of the pre-feasibility study. We should be done by the end of this year or into quarter one next year. The significant piece that we're working on is the test work optimization to convert the clay into the high purity alumina. And the beautiful nature of this material allows us, it's actually given us almost too much optionality, because one of the key byproducts is very high quality fertilizer product, potash. Now, it's not, the potash is made as a byproduct, it's not a brine like many of the other potash mines, and we believe that might also be a business in its own right. So it's a very exciting step forward. So we are working on some results at the moment from drilling in other lakes, and so we should have some news on that, which we've alluded to in previous announcements coming forward. So it's an exciting development.
Damn, I thought I had a scoop on my hands. However, putting my equity analyst hat on, I love the idea of profitable byproducts coming out of Lake Hope because it just helps de-risk the project, but also adds additional revenue.
It does.
So that is a fantastic tailwind that you've got there. Listen, I'm pretty sure I see some glasses being scored.
Indeed.
They're clinking over there, so I probably should wrap up. It's been a long day. Listen, Mike, this has been a great story. I've loved watching it unfold, and it looks like that jigsaw puzzle's nearly complete for Impact. Thanks for being here.
Not a problem, Shae. Look forward to updating you later.